Good morning children. Last class we learned about the communicable diseases, right, or the infectious diseases. So today we will learn about its spread as well as how to prevent it. Okay. So let us all look onto the screen here. Now let's see how do communicable disease spread. They spread through infected food or water, through air and through insects. What are the three ways the communicable diseases spread? One is through infected water or food, the next one is through air, the third one through insects. Okay, let us learn about each in detail. Let's see the first topic, that's through infected food and water. Diseases such as cholera and typhoid spread through drinking contaminated water or contaminated food that carry the disease causing germs. If we are consuming such food or water which is already contaminated, we get infected. We get diseases like cholera and typhoid. So this is through infected water and food what we intake. Now you can see how we can prevent this thing. Like first thing what you have to keep in mind whenever you are going out to to have food to restaurants or any maybe street food you love. First look into these things and try to make yourself safe. If you eat such food will definitely make us sick. So now let's see one by one. Like do not eat from vendors who keep food in open. Have you seen while going to shops outside on the roadside, you can see the vendors sitting and selling the snacks items, right? And you have noted that it's not kept covered, it's kept open. And lot of people are walking around here, there, and even we can see animals, flies, all. The air is polluted. We all know the germs are present everywhere. Germs are surrounding us. We can't see them. They are very minute. We can't see the germs, bacteria which are floating in the air, but we inhale it or we intake it through water or food which is contaminated by these germs. First thing, we should avoid vendors food items. Why? Because it's kept open, and the person who is selling the snacks, have you noted that he must be serving this snacks items as well as with the same hand he might be taking the money from us. These money notes, this travel through all people, I mean their hands might have touched and lot of germs might have got into the note. When we touch such notes, we get germs, and without washing when we are having food, these germs all get into our mouth and gets into directly to our stomach and we get infected. So always keep that in mind. Do not eat from vendors who keep food in open. The food should be kept covered, right? When it's kept outside, it should be kept covered so that we can avoid flies, other insects as well as people touching with their bare hand. When we are having that part of thing, then we might get infected. So likewise, let's see the other thing. Do not eat food cooked in unclean vessels or kept in unclean places. So you should look into that. If the food items are cooked in unclean vessels, then there is a chance of us getting infected. The vessels should be clean, properly washed and then only used for cooking purpose. Now let's see, do not eat food with dirty hands as germs will get into the food. How? When we are eating any food items, might be a sandwich or maybe a snack, with the dirty hands. Can you see here on the picture? The man's hand nails are full of dirt. Can you see it properly? And he has not washed his hand and he is just having his sandwich, which means what? When we are touching a food item, all the germs from inside our nails gets collected on the food item, and when we consume that food, what happens? We are taking in the germs along with the food item, which goes straight to our stomach and we get infected. We get stomach pain and we get loose motion and all, right? So that's the thing we say, always before having food you should wash your hand properly and then have the food. Okay, keep that in mind. Whenever even though if you are outside, you should use hand sanitizer. If you don't have water tap to wash your hands or anything, use hand sanitizer which keeps your hands germ free and you can have the snacks. Next, do not eat cut fruits or juices which is kept open in the roadside Stalls. You can see a lot of stalls on the roadside, and you can see the people, the person selling the fruits cut, and he has kept the fruits openly, in the roadside without covering it. And you must have seen lots of flies coming and sitting on the fruit pieces, and then we are taking that and having it. It also makes us sick. We all know the flies sit many places. They sit on garbages and dirts and all, which we don't want to see it also. We hate that. That those flies, when they sit on the food items, what happens? Their legs will have that dirt, and this dirt will get into the food item, and when we have that, all the dirts will go inside and we will fall sick. So that is why we say that you should look into that. If the fruits are covered, kept clean with the vessels, the surrounding is clean, then you can have it. Okay. Now let's see, always keep food and water covered. You should not keep it open for a while. Again, what happens? The flies will come and sit, and the dirt might fall. See, that's the reason we say always cover after the cooking with the lid. Okay, don't keep it open. Now next is, after using toilet, wash your hands with soap and water. So which part of our house has lots of germs? We have, that is our toilet, right? It has lots of germs there. Even though it's kept clean, we can find lots of germs which is unseen. So what you need to do after using the washroom, wash your hands with the soap and water and then come out, so that your hands are germ free. Now let's see the next topic, that is through air, how these communicable diseases spread. Tuberculosis, measles, chickenpox and swine flu are such diseases which spread through air. Remember that. And how does it spread? The person, those who are suffering, for example, when they cough or sneeze, if they are suffering from this kind of any kind of disease, and if they are coughing or sneezing, what happens? The germs from their mouth inside, it flows out from their mouth to the air, and that germs floats in the air. So if the other person comes, another person comes, and if he or she inhales the same air, what happens? The germs will get inside their body and the person will get infected. That is the way, through air it spreads. So when we are inhaling air, which the infected person has coughed or sneezed, the bacteria all comes out of his mouth and it floats in the air. And when we are inhaling this air, all the germs get inside our body and we get infected. Right? This is the way we get infected, through air. When another person breathes in that air, the germs that enter their body and make them sick. Now we will see through insects how these communicable diseases spread. House flies, we all know, as I have already told you, feed on garbage and dirt. Where you can find the house flies? You can find these house flies either on the garbage or in the dirt you can find. Where there is dirty or unclean places, lots of flies you can see. So when they sit on the food, the germs get into the food. How? These flies can spread, what and all diseases these flies can spread? Diarrhea, typhoid and cholera. Keep that in mind, the flies can spread diarrhea, cholera and typhoid. So we have two types of mosquitoes we are going to learn here. You can see on the screen, one is Anopheles and Aedes. So Anopheles mosquitoes carry germs that cause malaria. Okay. So which kind of mosquito spreads malaria? It's Anopheles. Now Aedes mosquitoes spread dengue. Okay. So keep that in mind. Two types of mosquitoes. One is Anopheles. Anopheles mosquitoes cause malaria and Aedes mosquitoes cause dengue. Dengue can cause even death if we are not taking proper treatment at right time. If the person is infected with dengue, if he is not going to hospital or taking correct medicines, he might die or she might die. Its symptoms are what? Like we have fever with shivering, body pain, even we have eye pain and rashes on the body. You can see the symptoms of dengue is fever with body pain and eye pain and rashes on the body. Mosquitoes also spread a dangerous disease. What is that? You all know, it's chikungunya. What we call it as chikungunya. let's see the measures to be taken to control these types of diseases. That is, do not allow water to collect around the surroundings as mosquitoes lay their egg and they multiply, right. So, we should clean our surroundings and we should see that nowhere the water is collected. Maybe an empty pot or maybe a tire piece or anything might be. So, look into that so that mosquitoes do not feed in and they do not lay eggs there and they might get multiplied. So, now next you can see here, introduce fish in the ponds as they feed on mosquito larvae and they do not allow them to multiply. Okay. The next thing, use a mosquito net to sleep under. Always use mosquito net if you find lots of mosquitoes inside the house, as well as we can use the mosquito coils or the machines which can kill the mosquitoes. Now, the next thing is use mosquito repellent cream to keep them away. You get creams in the markets, you can buy that cream and apply on the body so that the mosquitoes are away and they cannot drink your blood. So, the next thing after that is you have to consult a doctor for preventive medicines and take them regularly if malaria is common in your place where you stay. Okay, you should consult a doctor and you should take the preventive medicines so that you can avoid yourself falling sick with malaria. Okay. So, now we have learned what are the communicable diseases, its types, right, and we have learned how they spread and the preventive measures what we can to control these communicable diseases. Okay, children. So, you can go through it today after this and we will meet in the next class with the exercises. Till then, take care. Bye.